Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you guys, I love this picture of this beautiful little boy. I mean, he seems so innocent. And I'm going to tell you, he met his demise in a very, very tragic way. So I'm going to be sharing some details about that. If you're sensitive and can't handle that type of content, I understand if you need to exit the video. But this is your disclaimer because I'm going to give some details as well as my personal opinion about these stories, okay? But I've done stories like this in the past before, and I've tried to tell people in general that potty training children, let alone raising children, is a very daunting thing. It's not an easy thing to do. You have to do it from the heart. You have to have some level of experience, some wherewithal, a hell of a lot of patience. And I really hate the fact that we keep having stories like this. It is absolutely unnecessary. But I'll tell you guys this. It makes it even worse when you just see crappy ass people who are allowed to not only be parents, but to drag these children through suffering that they just don't deserve. And I'm going to tell y'all this. Even if one party in the house commits the crime, I think everybody who was around that allowed it to happen, didn't stand up to defend these children, should also be held accountable in court, in my humble opinion, okay? I know some states are doing better when it comes to that, but it's not enough. An Indiana man has been arrested and charged for the murder of his 4-year-old son, who he allegedly kept locked in a basement in the dark for not being potty trained. I'm going to say that again. You blame a child who is young, doesn't know anything about life, and is learning. Children are sponges. They can only regurgitate what we give them. And you're going to blame the child? That's never going to be acceptable. Because this child is not potty trained, it is the parent's responsibility to teach the child. Clearly that shows a lack that the parents are doing a good job, right? Or am I wrong? You don't blame the child for something it doesn't know. You blame the parents for not showing that child in a proper way, okay? Lock this child in a basement, a dark basement, for not being potty trained. Investigators claim that Alan Morgan, who is 28 years old, that man, I'm sorry, that man does not look like he's 28. He looks like he's 48. Life has not been kind to that man's face. I'm sorry, but he doesn't look like he's in his 20s, and y'all know that. But he's 28 years old, of Union Township, and he had been abusing Judah Morgan, who was the little boy, the subject of this story, who police found dead, battered and bruised in his bedroom on Monday. That means they beat this baby to death. And I said they. Now his mother, beautiful baby boy, let me back this up. The biological mother, from what I understand, his mother's name is Mary Yoder. She looks like Yoda in the face. Damn. 26 years old. That woman looked like she's 62 in the face. That is the woman on the right-hand side of the screen. I guess you can call that a woman, I suppose. Boy, life has not been kind to her face either. My goodness. Yoda, is 26 years old and has been arrested and charged with 2 felony counts of neglect. I don't know how anybody could do this to a child, according to Gina Hullett, Morgan's cousin, and Judah's former caregiver. Let's keep going. Hullett says she had been taking care of Judah for several years before he moved back in with his biological parents in April, as per the LaPorte County Child Protective Services Department. And by the way, I'm getting this news from Daily Mail, so thank you to Daily Mail. So you guys can check them out. They put out a ton of articles just like this. Even though I think they're based in the UK, but they end up doing a lot of stories in the United States. We shouldn't have that many stories for them to be able to put out. Nonetheless, Yoder, the mother, who made the call to police on Monday following Judah's death, told investigators that Alan, the dad, would bind, B-I-N-D, bind Judah with duct tape and physically abuse him, according to court documents. The autopsy showed Judah died of blunt force trauma to the head by that fool that y'all see on my screen. What a coward. What a punk. Thug ass father. That's not a father. That's not a man. I don't think these people are human, and they really don't even look human. Y'all take a look at this face. Then we're going to show you what the house that they were, if you could even call it a house, it looked like a trash can that they were living in. To be real honest, I know a lot of people don't have money. I just don't think that people who are living in squalor should have children. I don't think I'm wrong for saying that. You shouldn't be allowed to procreate if you can't properly take care of yourself. Children shouldn't be subjected to this. Everybody understand? We put children first. The autopsy showed he died of blunt force trauma to the head, which led to brain bleeding. He would also keep him in a dark basement at least 3 times a week. This is a baby we're talking about. 3 times a week. Never should it be acceptable. But he was subjected to this 3 times a week and denied him food as a scare tactic to punish Judah for not being potty trained like his 3 siblings. So you starve a child and scare a child and beat a child, and they're supposed to learn proper bowel habits, proper toilet habits. I'm just trying to see what this person might have thought. Y'all help me out, please. If y'all are listening in the chat, do me a favor and please click that thumbs up to help share this story, okay? Please help me understand. A child is trying to learn something, and me as a father, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to help you learn it. So I'm going to punch you in the head, punch and kick you in the stomach. I'm going to lock you in a basement, being this little bitty baby. Then I'm going to starve you so you can't eat, so your stomach hurts. You feel like you're about to die. You know, you're in despair. You're scared. You're lonely. Even your own mother won't even come help you. And that's supposed to teach you how to go to the toilet properly? Why do people not understand prison justice? When people do this type of stuff to children, there are people in jail for things that they should be in jail for, and they still look at the abuse, murder, rape, and abuse of children as the lowest of the low thing that you could possibly do. And you actually have people out there that will actually try to defend these people, not only say that they shouldn't be held fully accountable for their charges, but then they think that they shouldn't be getting the type of treatment they get in jail. I'm not one of those people. You do that to a little baby, you get what you get. In my humble opinion. There are also some very, very peculiar things going on in that picture. I'm gonna actually make that picture bigger. I guess I combine those words together so you guys can see what was actually in the background, which I thought was absolutely insane. Hullett, who described Judah as a loving and playful, said, "I don't think it was because of his lack of being potty trained, because he was potty trained before he left my care. I think it was a fear factor." So there you go. You have somebody who said that he was already potty trained. Investigators found duct tape in the basement along with children's clothes and blankets that reeked of urine, smelled like piss. There was also a toddler training toilet filled with urine and feces. That's disgusting. Investigators also found in the home that the home was filled with trash, rotten food, animal feces. I really hope y'all are not eating right now. I'm sorry. As well as a locked refrigerator and an extremely malnourished dog kept inside of a crate. So on top of that, they starved the damn dog. Why? Because he wasn't potty trained either? I'm sure that was the dog's fault. When they were in the house and found Judah's corpse, investigators said there were no adults around, only 3 children, ages 7, 2 years old, and 1 year old. These children are back to back to back to back. And nobody noticed this at all. No relatives, no family, no friends, no neighbors. I don't understand how your house can smell like donkey ass and you don't report a welfare check. Are y'all just used to that smell? What is wrong with the people that lived around there? And I mean no disrespect to this young lady right here. This was one of the caretakers. But don't you think that when you come pick this child up or when you had this child would have smelled like this? But I know she probably gave this child back, not at her discretion, because she was forced to. Okay, but we'll get more to that here in a minute, because I know that they're talking about trying to sue CPS, but we'll get there. Let me give you guys the fair usage, and then I'll give y'all my personal, humble opinion. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And before I do that, give me a second. Let me take down the fair usage. And I don't know why I have to keep putting that up. I don't even know if it helps or not. I think it does, but I'm going to keep putting it up. Let me show you guys something real quick. Let me make sure that's the wrong picture. Okay, hold on. Let me show you guys something real quick. And if you guys are watching, do me a favor and click that thumbs up. It'll help share this stream and let more people know that we're live. Let me adjust the contrast on this picture real quick. I have to do this live. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I need to make sure y'all can see this. Let me change the clarity. Okay. I'm thinking that's probably going to be about the best I can do right there to make this more visible. Okay. Let me show you guys a picture real quick. And thank you guys. And I know I've been gone for a minute. I do apologize about that, but I thank y'all for being understanding. I just needed some time off because this stuff is really difficult to deal with. I want to show you guys this picture. I'm going to crop the bottom portion of it. I'm going to see if I can make this a little bit bigger. I want y'all to tell me if you notice something very, very odd in this picture. This is a picture that they took of this baby boy. Are y'all looking at that door? And no, I haven't seen a GoFundMe yet. I haven't seen one yet. I'm sure one is coming. This is the picture that I wanted to call attention to. And I was looking at it. And, you know, sometimes people's doors are dirty because you use them all the time. You're not thinking about washing your door, cleaning your door, painting your door. But I was looking at this and I was like, what the hell is that on the door? Do y'all see this? I don't know if I can make it any bigger. Yeah, it looked like it's blood on the door. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Somebody please tell me that you can see this. I'm not so sure that I've ever seen anything like this. Ever. I've seen dirty doors from dirt, mud, dust, unclean doors. It's not super uncommon, I guess. That looks like blood splatter all over the door. That doesn't even look like dirt. You said for Halloween? I don't know. We got dead kids involved. I want y'all to think about this. That's why I brought it up. Think about that. Let me show you guys one more thing real quick. I want to show y'all what this house looked like, y'all. Show you this. Can you guys take a look at this? I could actually tell that's a Toyota Camry in the background because I used to actually own a Toyota Camry years ago. But that looks absolutely disgusting. That just looks wrong. Let me switch pictures. Let me show you a different picture. Let me show y'all this one. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Let me crop the bottom a little bit. Can y'all see that? It looks absolutely disgusting. Let me see if I can brighten it just a little bit. Can y'all see that? That don't look like Halloween. They house probably look like Halloween every day. That looks terrible. Trash everywhere. If you're talking about... There's just no way. That house, it's like I could smell that house through this screen.
Judah's foster family says his death should have never happened. They say DCS failed him.
They just simply didn't do their job. They didn't do what they were supposed to. They didn't follow up. Had they followed up, they would have seen the red flags.
And I want you guys to remember, look at what they're doing. They're already trying to put the blame on CPS, not the dirty biological mother and dirty biological father. They're pointing the blame at CPS. I feel like I would feel better if you said the mother and father are to blame and then CPS also failed. I'd feel better if you said that rather than just saying all of this is CPS's fault. Sorry, that's just not cool to keep doing that.
Say DCS failed him.
They just simply didn't do their job. They didn't do what they were supposed to. They didn't follow up. Had they followed up, they would have seen the red flags.
As candles burned, tributes were paid to 4-year-old Judah Morgan. Loved ones held justice for Judah signs as community members stood together in support.
It was sweet. It was loving, caring, very caring.
Judah was placed with his cousin Jenna Hollett at 4 months old following abuse allegations within his home.
Judah was born with a large amount of THC in his system from my understanding. And like I said, I wanted him with family.
Judah was with her for 4 years, but was reunited with his birth parents, Mary Yoder and Alan Morgan, in April. They're both charged in his death after Judah was found with blunt force trauma Sunday. What made the system give him back to his parents?
Long story short, they dropped the ball. I mean, they told me on 2 separate occasions, the Lowell County regional manager had told me that they were to file termination of parental rights on 2 different occasions, and for some unknown reason they failed to do so, and all he could do was apologize, and he said they just had to start the case over.
According to the police report, Judah's mother called 911 stating Judah's father lost his temper and hurt him. Investigators found Judah inside a bedroom naked, covered in a blanket with bruises all over his body and on his face and head. His mother told investigators Judah was sent to the basement around 3 times a week for punishment for not being potty trained like his other 3 siblings in the house.
I'm going to rewind that so y'all can hear it again. The mom knew this was going on the entire time. Look, I'm going to be real with y'all, and I'll tell y'all this again. I think the laws need to be changed. And I think that if a parent like this, and they need to stop making excuses for these mothers, oh, she knew about it, but she didn't do it. I think you should be held just as accountable for doing it if you knew what was going on and you didn't do nothing to stop it, nothing to report it, nothing to save this baby. Don't y'all think? I think you should be charged equally. So if he gets a murder charge, you should get a murder charge. If he gets life in prison, you should get life in prison. Do y'all agree? I think that's a great solution. Not good, great. Like Tony the Tiger would say. Great solution.
A bedroom naked, covered in a blanket with bruises all over his body and on his face and head. His mother told investigators Judah was sent to the basement around 3 times a week for punishment for not being potty trained like his other 3 siblings in the house. The lights were purposely shut off as a, quote, scare tactic, and food was withheld from him.
He was potty trained when he was 2.
The report also shows Judah's mother said Judah was forced to stay in the basement naked with only a fuzzy blanket for days before being allowed back upstairs, and that his father...
What is up with these people and naked babies? I don't know if y'all caught that the way I caught that. I'm just like, my mind automatically goes to the worst thing. And I'm thinking, why do all these children end up naked? Not in this story in a bathtub, but a lot of these children end up naked, dead, and in bathtubs. Like bathtubs and naked children and dead children. It's just really weird.
Judah's mother said Judah was forced to stay in the basement naked with only a fuzzy blanket for days before being allowed back upstairs, and that his father would duct tape his hands and feet and physically abuse him. Hullett describes Judah's parents as monsters for what they did.
That's the hardest part. It's hard for him to be gone, but the details are eating at me.
The police report states Judah's mother would tell his father things like, "That's enough," but didn't stop the abuse. Conditions inside were described as having a strong pungent odor of urine and rotting food, with clothing, garbage, and animal fecal matter all over the house. The refrigerator had a cord attached, preventing anyone from opening it, according to the documents.
I was worried.
Hullett says she warned DCS multiple times that he was in harm's way, but nothing was done.
She repeatedly told me, they're not listening. I keep going to them. I'm telling them what's happening. They're not listening. I don't know what to do.
The family says the system horrifically mishandled their case.
You need to stop this from happening ever again. It should have never happened with Judah. He was safe and loved, and
I'm not gonna lie, that does sound very similar to Takoda, Takoda. If y'all look that story up, it's on my channel. It actually sounds a lot like that story.
taken care of with us.
The family is hoping to establish a new law in Judah's name. In the meantime, they encourage the community to email local legislators and senators with their concerns about the foster care system. In Indianapolis, I'm Rachel Wilkerson, WRTV.
An Indiana foster mother says a 4-year-old who spent most of his life under her roof died months after a court ordered him to be reunited with his birth parents. Gina Hullett said she tried to alert the Department of Child Services of abuse happening inside his birth parents' home for years, but was ignored. Tonight, our Madison Stacy has a story behind a heartbreaking case, now prompting new legislation at the State House.
Just everything's a constant reminder. Dandelions. He would squat down and pick up the little flower, the dandelion.
Judah is not Gina Hullett's biological son, but from the start, he was always her baby boy.
He called me mommy, called my husband daddy. My kids were his siblings.
At 4 years old, he was already a comedian.
Cheese.
He liked to dance. He loved to dance.
Baby.
That's you.
Baby.
When Judah was born in 2017, Hullett discovered he was placed in foster care. As Judah's second cousin, the Department of Child Services arranged a kinship placement so Judah could be surrounded by family. That also meant Judah...
I have to back that up. And I know some people don't like me rewinding. Those are people that shouldn't be watching my channel, but I'm going to rewind it and I'm going to play this again. They placed this baby in Child Protective Services when he was born. This baby was doomed from day one. Why were they ever given another opportunity? If you are so crappy of a parent that you have to have your children taken from the day that they're born, you should never, ever be able to get those children back again until you prove beyond the shadow of a doubt, beyond all reasonable doubt, that you can be a good parent. We don't even, in America, I don't think we judge these parents harsh enough. when you take the kids, they should have to go through hell and high water to prove that they're a good parent to be able to get their kids back, in my opinion.
But from the start, he was always her baby boy.
He called me mommy, called my husband daddy. My kids were his siblings.
At 4 years old, he was already a comedian.
Cheese.
He liked to dance. He loved to dance.
Baby.
That's you.
Baby.
When Judah was born in 2017, Hullett discovered he was placed in foster care. As Judah's second cousin, the Department of Child Services arranged a kinship placement so Judah could be surrounded by family. That also meant Judah was required to spend some of his time in the home of his biological parents. Early on, Hullett suspected abuse at the home.
It's very, very sweet and loving up until he would have visits and then he would come home angry.
Hullett says she tried multiple times to alert DCS to the potential abuse, but that they never acted on her claims.
I'm screaming for help and nobody's listening.
And I'm going to tell y'all this. Another thing that bothers me about this, why not just leave this baby with that woman? She seems very nice, very stable, like a good caretaker for this kid. Well, we want him to be around his biological DNA family. Why? Why? If your family treats you like crap, then I'm sorry, you should break tie. I think family and loved ones and having somebody that takes care of you properly, treats you right, protects you, is way more important than a DNA tie, especially in a situation like this. That should never trump someone taking care of a baby as opposed to putting this child around dangerous ass people. They should have never have taken this child away from her.
Hullett at least knew he would be safe once he got in her arms. Judah seemed to know that too.
Oh, every time he'd come home from a visit, he'd tell me, "Take off your shoes, Mommy." He knew if my shoes were off, we weren't going anywhere.
And I'll tell y'all this. If people really believe that that tie is so important that this child needs to be around its family, why don't y'all wait until the child is actually able to defend himself? Maybe wait till he's 10 years old, 12 years old. Wait till he's a teenager, until he might be able to defend himself. Tell on you, grab a knife, something. But not a little baby. There's nothing this baby could have did. I'd rather wait until they turn 13, then let them go see their DNA tie of the family. So at least we'll stand a fighting chance.
He wasn't going to visit. We were staying at home. He would scream and they would have to pry him off of me because he did not want to go to visit.
In April of 2021, Jenna says a judge mandated that Judah be sent back to live with his biological parents for a trial home visit. Any further access to Judah would depend on his biological parents, her cousin Alan Morgan and his wife Mary Yoder, who denied the Hullett's access.
And then it went from 3 days a week to just completely ripped him from us, put him with them, and we weren't allowed to visit him. So in my eyes, he was probably scared, didn't understand why we dropped him off there and never came back. I was mourning him then. But I always had hope that we would see him again. I even told my husband I'm going to start writing him letters so when he gets older, I want him to know that we always loved him.
This woman this is probably the worst thing ever. And I'll give a shout out to a young lady I was just talking to. I don't see her in the chat right now, so I don't want to call her out until I see her type in the chat. We were just talking about this, that there are so many people out there that have so much love to give. And when you finally have a situation where these foster parents who are willing and able and love these children, it seems like the system just doesn't do right. It's like they put children with people that shouldn't have the kids, and then they take children away from people that should have the kids. Maybe that's a field I should have to go into. I'm getting a little bit older, and maybe I should pick up in a career field like that. Join CPS, DPS, or whatever it is, DCS. Because I think that I can sense when a parent is just a bad individual. I don't know what these people are seeing. There is nothing about this woman that says to me she should not have full custody of this kid. And then you look at the parents. Look at the parents. They look like meth heads and crackheads. Like they spend their life digging through the trash can and swimming through trash, just like their house looks. You can't look at that and visually say, you look stinky, you look funky, you shouldn't have kids in your possession. On the other hand, she looks stable and sweet and nice. Keep the kid. Keep the kid. Simple. And then guess what we do if we don't have that? We don't have a dead kid and they're not on my channel. They're in her possession and this kid can grow up and become something great. This is what upsets me.
But those are words of love Judah never grew old enough to hear. On October 11th, police found 4-year-old Judah, the boy who loved music and dandelions, dead on a bedroom floor of his parents' home. Court documents show he was found naked, covered only by a blanket and bruises. An affidavit also shows Mary Yoder told police her husband would shut Judah in the basement, naked and alone, dimming the lights as a scare tactic. She said Judah was bound with duct tape and beaten as punishment for not being potty trained.
Only the other thing I can do is try to make sure that it doesn't happen to anybody else. I'm tired of hearing about the system failing children and babies, and nobody should have to bury their child. And although I didn't give birth to him, he was my baby.
Broke this woman's heart for no freaking reason.
And Judah's story has caught the attention of state lawmakers. State Senator J.D. Ford met with members of the Hullett family. He just filed a bill that centers on making changes to what information DCS must include in their end-of-year child fatality report, specifically about children with a previous history of abuse.
We need to get this information, and we need it sooner rather than later. We need to do more.
So Gina keeps pushing, because for Judah, it was already too late.
I'm having such an overwhelming amount of stress. I'm only doing this because I want awareness for other children. I want justice for Judah. It's the only way that I can pay him back, is to try to get justice for him, because it didn't have to happen. It shouldn't have happened. He was happy with us.
That's insane. That is insane. I'm going to finish telling y'all the rest of this story because I might have left out a few parts. The mother, Yoder, who had just given birth to another child, allegedly sent a message to her brother-in-law asking for help just before she called 911 on Monday, and the mother reportedly said that she could have put a stop to this, but she didn't. And I think that might be the brother. I'm not sure that they're talking about. I think actually it is. Yeah, that's the uncle. That's Jesse Morgan, Judah's uncle. Yep. Okay. The 3 children were sent to live with the family members, and the newborn was put up for adoption. Jesse Morgan, Morgan's brother, said that his family was completely shocked to find out his brother was charged with torturing and killing his nephew. Okay, so that's... Anyway. I don't think any of us have really come to terms with it or woke up from the nightmare, Jesse said, as his family held a small vigil for Judah at the family's home. Jesse also blamed Child Protective Services. They're putting the blame in the wrong place, even though they did mess up. I just think that that should come second to the parents failing this child, who he claimed never checked up on Judah after putting him in the parents' custody. LaPorte County Children Protective Services Department did not immediately reply to the news request for comment. Both Morgan and Yoder are in LaPorte County Jail, and prosecutors have filed a motion to seek life in prison without parole for Morgan. They both deserve life in prison. But again, I just think that's incredibly sad. The kid was fine with the foster mom. Why not leave him there? This little boy could not speak for himself, nor could he defend himself against the tyranny that he was forced into. They took him out of that home for a reason, and I think he should have been left out of that home for obvious reasons. That house looked like crap. Those parents looked like crap. They acted like crap, smelled like crap, treated this little boy like crap. And he deserved so much better than that. And I'm going to tell you something that I found that was better than a GoFundMe. And I'm sure some of y'all are wondering, well, DJ, what's better than a GoFundMe? How about this? And I'd like to give a shout out to whoever created this account. I'm going to put it up on the screen so y'all can see it. Let me blow it up, make it bigger. This is a website called change.org. Some of you guys might be familiar with this website. But what they did is they're actually calling for change as opposed to begging for change by way of GoFundMe when there's a dead child. Hold LaPorte County DCS liable for the death of Judah Morgan, and they have already gotten some signatures. I think they're up to about just under 1,500. So if you guys want to follow that, you can actually look it up by way of this title, Hold LaPorte County DCS liable for the death of Judah Morgan. Should be really, really easy to find that on change.org if you guys want to sign that petition. For the people who are watching, if you'll look at the number of people who are watching, we can easily get this amount of people to go do something as simple as this. It's free and it does not cost you a thing. But you can help share the memory of this baby and help get justice. But we also want to ask for life in prison for the mother, Mary Yoder, and for the father, Alan Morgan. They were not a mother or father. That was just their biological function that allowed them to bring this beautiful child into this world and took his life for no reason. Beautiful baby boy, young prince, R.I.P. He deserves so much better. But make sure you guys share his story and continue to make sure you check us out on the AFC podcast. And I hope that when we do an update on this story, the next thing that we could tell you is that the mother got life in prison, the same as the father, because I think they equally deserve blame for this, okay? Beautiful baby boy. Ladies and gentlemen, probably one of my most popular hashtags is a hashtag that I call hashtag Date Thugs, Date Death. And the reason for that is because it seems to ring very true. And all I'm talking about is it seems like it's a very dangerous thing to date a person, especially when you have children, or deal with a person that might be involved in gangs, drugs, or illicit activities, or whatever the case is. But if you decide to do that and you don't have kids, you're grown, you do what you want to do. But once you become a parent and you have children, or if you decide to procreate with people like that, then I just think that there is a certain level of risk that goes along with that, which is why I say when you date thugs, you date the possibility of death. Hope that makes sense. I hope that does not get misconstrued. But in this story, we're going to be talking about that. And I think that this individual that you see on my screen, who is currently in police custody, fits my description perfectly. I'm going to say some things that may or may not sit well with your sensibilities, but the story also is going to have some details that might turn your stomach. So that's your disclaimer if you need to exit the video. The individual that you see on my screen, this mother, her name, and I hope I pronounce her name correctly, Deja Jenkins-Minus. Deja, D-E-J-A-H. It could either be Deja or Deja. Jenkins-Minus or minus, M-I-N-U-S. That's normally minus, but it might be minus. I'm not sure. But that mother has been stabbed 58 times. I think most people have watched this channel long enough to know what that actually means. That is a crime of passion. That is a lot of hate and rage in a person's heart to go for an individual like this, let alone a mother, let alone a woman, with a weapon 58 times. She was stabbed 58 times and her neck was broken when police found her body in the bedroom of her on again, off again boyfriend's home in Lowell on the day after Thanksgiving, prosecutor said on Tuesday. On again, off again boyfriend. That sounds like stupidity. On again, off again. Like, and we're doing this with children. These are parents. On again, off again. That's dumb. We have to start being way more stable if we truly love our children, and our children don't deserve this, okay? Now let's keep going. The brutality of this mother's killing was outlined in Lowell District Court, where 22-year-old, let me see if I can get this fool's face up on the screen. She's a beautiful girl, too. Beautiful girl. Cannot deny her that. And she's young. This thug right here. His name is Leonard D. Robinson, 22 years old. He's young. He's a young dummy. Young and dumb and full of cum. And I've told you guys, I personally don't believe that young men under the age of 25 are good for very much, rather than just physical pleasure. And I fell into that boat as well. I'm not saying that I'm excluded from that. I think I'm included with that. I don't think that men under the age of 25, most men, should not be parents. Let me know when I've said something that's wrong, not just something that hurts your little damn feelings. Most men, most responsible men or most responsible fathers would agree. Most of us men don't have a lot to bring to the table under the age of 25 years old besides oh, we're real good at slinging that pipe. Real good for that. We got a whole lot of energy. Our bodies are usually in the best physical condition at that point. We got a whole lot of stamina, a whole lot of metabolism, right? Real good for that. But why does that always have to equal babies? We got condoms, we got pills, we got shots, we got snippy snips. We got tying the shoelaces. Abortion, adoption. Ugly options, but they're still options. This should not be happening between two parties, grown-ass people that should understand why are we still continuing to produce children when we're not ready to be parents. Neither, I'm going to be real, this mother and this father were not ready to be parents. They're young children and their brains are of young kids. They're not mature, working parents ready to bring children into this world and provide a stable environment for them. A lot of them aren't. Let me tell you the rest of the story. 22-year-old Leonard D. Robinson was charged and arraigned Tuesday on a murder charge. He pled not guilty and was ordered to be held with no bond. This was a tragic death that was caused by him on Thanksgiving Day, said Middlesex Assistant District Attorney Thomas Brandt. The murder of 22-year-old Jenkins-Minus, so she's 22 years old, they're the same age. Shouldn't be having kids, man. Shouldn't be having kids. Too young, too stupid. And I mean both of them. I know the family is not going to like me saying that, but it's the truth. Don't get mad at the truth. The murder of her, Brandt said, was perhaps driven by a conflict. Catch this. When I talk about young and dumb. Driven by a conflict over the 2-month-old daughter, beautiful little girl, by the way, that she shared with Robinson. Just 2 days before he allegedly brutalized Jenkins-Minus, or Minus, prosecutors said that Robinson wrote on a Facebook post, if y'all want to see that, let me pull it up. I can actually pull that up. I'm going to close my StreamYard since ain't nobody pull up on there. Let me show you guys this Facebook post. Hold on just a second. Y'all do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, please. I got a couple of screenshots I need to pull up. Is it this? I got two of them. That's one. Oh, no, that's hers. And this is his. Is that a copy or is that the same thing? Let's bring it up anyway. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this screenshot. This is 1 out of 2, I believe. Hopefully you guys can read this. That's about as big as I can make this on my screen. Robinson wrote a post on Facebook questioning whether he was the father of their daughter, writing that he had wanted a paternity test since this child was born. That's never going to be an excuse to murder, beat, or hurt someone. Never an excuse. I need to make that very, very clear. But a lot of these men are quite unstable because they don't have the mental capacity. They were not raised with their fathers in the household, which we know that to be a statistical possibility, that this boy that they want to call a man and a father didn't have a father in his life, so he didn't grow up to find any value in himself. Therefore, he didn't value the outside world. And it was clear to see that he was acting emotional because women are generally driven by their emotions. So if men get too much of that and don't get the logical side, which a man would normally provide, then it creates a mental instability. So if y'all want to ever talk about mental illness, why is that not considered a mental illness? Nobody is ever going to say, well, this young man, this young father was suffering from mental illness because he thought this was his child, and come to find out the mother might have had some infidelity that caused this mental stress on this father. I'm not saying that should be used as an excuse because it's not an excuse. But that is the damn truth. Is that not a mental condition? I don't like mental instability at all as an excuse for murdering people at all. I think people should all be held accountable and screw mental illness. If you are that mentally unstable, you should not be a parent. You should not have kids, and you shouldn't be around other people. Y'all catch that? Pretty simple concept that I have. Let's take it to this Facebook message that he wrote very, very recently, just before Thanksgiving. Have your kids for you. Don't do it for no nigga. That's what he said. That's his words. Sees, I don't know what that means. When that nigga don't want you no more, you ain't and you shouldn't have the time to be chasing. He said to be chasing after the nigga or picking out flaws to, why he say TOO? To throw on social media. Like, really, you gotta put that same energy into being a mother. That's all I'ma say. Peace. Let me show you the other screenshot. This one. This one's a key indicator of what the motive was. This is simply just the motive. It says, ain't no way she forgot to mention she was, the F word, having sex more than one nigga when she got pregnant. He's trying to claim she was having sex with other people. When they talk about that on again, off again boyfriend, usually that means that the man is usually having sex with another chick. The woman is usually having sex with another man, which also proves the statistic. When a lot of these young mothers go out to go get a DNA test, a lot of times they are wrong on the first try because they don't know their gestation. They didn't pay attention to when they were screwing, who they were screwing, unprotected. I'm sorry, that's disgusting. And that's also why you have a lot of these STDs running around, because people are having a lot of unprotected sex. it smells bad, and it burns real bad. He said, I ain't playing daddy, I ain't playing house, and always said I wanted a DNA test from the beginning. He called her a B word. Women get mad and post personal business all day long. It's corny. I ain't even want to post this, and I usually just let the B word live her best life on Facebook, even when she start lying. But this is different. Like if you go perform at least, oh my God, this boy is a true dummy. At least, he turned it into ad, A-D, like an ad and a lease together is at, A-T, least, L-E-A-S-T. You just make up words. I guess that's what we do. At least tell the audience the full story. All I'm saying is Bees is messy, petty, and wasn't ready for a kid, and it's sad that it shows on Facebook. Would you guys like to take a look at her message and her last Facebook post? Check it out. She said, the N word that's not loyal to his kids is not loyal to no one. And of course they mean to anyone, but that double negative, we'll just skip that. We're not going to be the grammar police today, right? We know what she's trying to say. She's trying to say that this man should have blind loyalty and trust that this woman is producing a kid by him, and he shouldn't question it, knowing the fact that they both agreed that they were on and off. So if they were on and off, which means that they both were probably seeing other people while you were gestating and creating a kid. Why should any human being blindly believe and be stupid enough when you have a saying like, mama's baby, daddy's maybe? And that's a saying that's been around for generations. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Where did that even come from? How long has that saying been around? That means that this type of thing has been going on for a long amount of time. Way before these people were born, and probably way before I was born. I think that's flat out irresponsible, and I know ladies might not like me to say this, because that is a knock on women in general, not all, but to this mother, and for us to feel sad, I'm saying what we got to stop doing is pushing these thug lions, picking at these thug lions, and then wonder why they attack. That's what you picked the thug lion for, because he's dangerous. You thought you could tame it, and clearly you couldn't. Hashtag when you date thugs, what? Beautiful little baby. Beautiful little baby. He wanted a paternity test since birth. The mother, her family said on Facebook that was a bright light whose life was taken far too soon. Let me skip some of this. The mother had been staying at her family's home in Boston for Thanksgiving when she departed with her daughter and headed to Robinson's home on Llewellyn Street in Lowell in the early morning hours of November 25th. She was expected to be at the family house in Boston for a Thanksgiving gathering. She did not return during that day. Concerned by her absence, her family members began frantically checking the location of her phone. It placed her at Robinson's home, and Jenkins, the mother, drove straight to Lowell. She found the home locked, empty, and dark. Early the following morning, as police were responding to the home for a wellness check, a family member of Robinson climbed through the window, calling out for him. He found his bedroom locked and kicked the door open. When police went through the home, they found blood splattered in the kitchen and on the floors and the walls. What the medical examiner's office noted was that Deja's neck was fractured, that she was stabbed over 58 times. That is a painful death. Stabbed 58 times. She had 58 stab wounds to her body by a sharp object. There were defensive wounds on her hands, arms, stab wounds to her upper torso, front and rear of her neck, her face, and the back of her head. A knife that investigators believe is consistent with the murder weapon was found during a search of the home. The mother's family members found her daughter in a Boston residence on the afternoon of November 26, according to Marcella Dwork, a spokesperson for Ryan. She was surprisingly, miraculously in good condition. This is the little baby that they're talking about. Her diaper bag had dried blood on it, and it was not immediately clear how the girl ended up there. Those details we're still investigating. We don't know who took the baby to the house. We don't know how the baby appeared at the residence. But the baby is okay, so let's put a prayer hands up for that. That is a huge blessing. Huge blessing. So the baby is okay. Robinson, let me see. Robinson was free on a $5,000 bail from 2 gun cases pending in Suffolk Superior Court, and had been ordered to wear a GPS monitor bracelet and to keep a 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. curfew, according to records. I sincerely hope y'all caught that. He was already on a gun charge. And they said gun cases as in plural. Hey, if Kiki is listening, tell Kiki to click the link. I'll see if I can repost it. I just reopened the StreamYard. So there's that link. Click that link, if you would, please. I'm back in the StreamYard. I had to open it back up. So it's open now. Click that link. I'll be waiting for you, Kiki. Okay? Let me get back to my story real quick while I wait for that. So again, we're talking about accountability. I'm not saying that the mother is not the victim. She is the victim. She is the victim. She should not have been murdered like this. She did not deserve this. This mother deserved to live and go about her life. This man robbed her of that. I want to make that perfectly clear. But let me say this. That means that this mother knew that he was a thug, knew that he had gun charges, knew that he had a GPS ankle bracelet on. How did you not know that if you're having sex with this fool? Did he never take his pants off? Don't play games with me. That is impossible for you to have not known that he had an ankle bracelet on. And if you're from the hood, if you're around hood dudes, then you would have to understand what an ankle bracelet means. Everybody understands that means you did something, or at least accused of something, that you're a dangerous person that needs to be monitored. The case is pending. And you still went to hang with this fool? It takes the level of sympathy from 100% sympathy to the mother down to about 45% sympathy. 100%, 45%. That's where my sympathy level is, okay? Now, data obtained from that ankle bracelet, obtained by the authorities, placed him at the home, so of course they knew he was there. Thanksgiving morning. It indicates that he drove to multiple different locations in Boston before cutting off the bracelet at 4:56 p.m., according to prosecutors and the courts. He was arrested Monday night in Boston, and police said that he did not confess to the murder, Brent said in court. Robinson's public defender, because of course he couldn't provide private counsel for himself, did not object to the no bail order, but said Robinson is concerned that he would be in danger in the Middlesex House of Corrections. He is slated to appear again in court on December the 30th. That's 13 days from now. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right, here we go. Let's get it.
First at 10, we are hearing from friends of the brand new mother murdered on Thanksgiving. Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Ockerblum.
And I'm Vanessa Welch. This comes as we learn the man charged in the murder was the father of her child. Boston 25 News reporter Wale Aliyu live in Lowell tonight, where the suspect will see a judge tomorrow. Wale?
Vanessa, this is an incredibly heartbreaking story. So sad, I'm actually holding back emotions just trying to report this to you. But Middlesex County District Attorney's Office has confirmed 22-year-old Leonard Robinson of Lowell will be here at Lowell District Court tomorrow to face a judge for the Thanksgiving Day murder. Take a look at the very last Facebook post of 22-year-old Deja Jenkins-Minus of Boston. On Wednesday, she wrote, "My daughter will never need for anything, and that she cannot wait to celebrate her first Thanksgiving tomorrow. Sadly, the next day would be her first and only Thanksgiving with her daughter." Lowell police found her body Friday morning on Llewellyn Street in Lowell after conducting a well-being check and say she had signs of apparent trauma. They say 22-year-old Leonard D. Robinson of Lowell fled the scene, but the baby was found unharmed. Police did recover a knife they believe to be the murder weapon. After an autopsy, the chief medical examiner's office ruled her death a homicide by multiple sharp force injuries. Police arrested Robinson Monday in Boston.
She just graduated. She just graduated high school. She just had her daughter. It was just Thanksgiving too.
We spoke with Devon Holiday, who grew up with Deja. Holiday says a homicide by multiple sharp force injuries. Police arrested Robinson Monday in Boston.
She just graduated. She just graduated high school. She just had her daughter. It was just Thanksgiving.
Y'all know what's about to happen. Y'all know what's about to happen. What the absolute hell? Guys, this is a grown ass. I'm about to do it. Shut up. I'm about to do it. Don't you tell me don't do it. I'm about to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a grown-ass man with eyelashes on. What is wrong with you, sir? Did you just want to feel like a woman? Dun, 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 dun. Why do you have eyelashes on, sir? You can be limp-handed. You could be the limp noodle, limp hand. You could be gay all you want to. That's cool. I don't give a damn what you do behind closed doors. But these dudes are just ridiculous. Why can't you, if you like men, you like boys, why not just be a man and just date boys? I don't understand this. You're a grown-ass man, son. Why do you, he has makeup on. Why, fool? Look at this.
Police arrested Robinson Monday in Boston.
She just graduated. She just graduated high school. She just had her daughter. It was just Thanksgiving too.
We can even ignore the mannerisms. I don't even mind that. What are the eyelashes for, fool? I don't even like women wearing them big. Look, I'm a fair person, okay? Can we get that clear? I'm gonna pop my collar for a second. We get that real clear. I don't even like it when women do it. I don't even like it when women do it. Women look stupid, and you look stupid, sir. Quite stupid. Let's keep going.
We spoke with Devon Holiday, who grew up with Deja. Holiday says she loved cheerleading and loved her family.
Honestly, I would love for her to be remembered as this amazing, goal-driven, hard-working mother that honestly would do anything to take care of her mother and her child and herself, for real. The world just lost an amazing person.
Y'all might have missed that part. I'm going to back that up and listen to what he said. Listen to this.
To take care of her mother and her child and herself, for real.
Notice how he didn't mention no mention of a family and a father, because he probably didn't have a father his damn self. He talked about her taking care of her kid and her mother. Listen at this.
Hard-working mother that honestly would do anything to take care of her mother and her child and her.
She would do anything to take care of her mother and her child. That is what the black family is nowadays. A chick with kids and no man, no husband, no fathers. In a nutshell. All day, every day. And then y'all wonder why stuff like this keeps happening, but you keep producing the same results and you keep looking at it and you keep saying, well, why all these women keep dying? She was an awesome woman and she was so sweet and she would do anything for anybody, y'all. She would have gave that blue shirt off the back of her back for anybody, y'all. She would have done anything except give her child a proper father. Oops.
Self, for real.
Oh, Lord. We'll get back to that video here in a minute. We're going to skip that for now. We'll get back to that. I'm going to show y'all how much of a thug this. I'm going to show y'all what her baby daddy looks like on camera. I'm going to show y'all his behavior. We'll get back to that here in a minute.
The victim of an apparent homicide in Lowell has been identified by police as 22-year-old Deja Jenkins-Minus of Boston. It's a case where police have not yet made an arrest. And as WBZ's Tiffany Chan tells us, her friends and family gathered tonight to remember her.
Dozens of people gathered outside of the victim's home here in Mattapan, lighting candles, comforting her mother, a 22-year-old woman, a new mother, taken far too soon. The pain too difficult to put into words. Hugs turned into uncontrollable sobs at a candlelight vigil near the Morton Street housing development. Relatives of Deja Jenkins-Minus identified the 22-year-old as the woman brutally murdered in Lowell Friday. Her body.
I do got to take a pause. I got to shout this out while they're still in here. I got to give a shout out and say thank you to Highbrow Studio. If you're listening, if you're in the chat, Highbrow Studio donated by way of Venmo, showing some big time love. Said, keep on fighting for our babies. I got your Venmo and I want to shout you out and I want to do that. I don't want to wait on that one. So thank you. And I also needed to shout out Kimberly, if you're still in the chat, I need to shout you out. And let me also say shout out to, let me get the name right. If Barbara is listening, Barbara Fairchild, I want to say I'm praying for you and I hope everything is okay. But I want to just put a big prayer hands up and say much love and know that I'm praying for you. So Barbara Fairchild, if you're out there listening, we're praying for you. So thank you and much love to Kim and her amazing support, absolutely amazing support. And Highbrow Studio want to shout you out as well. Had to stop the show to shout that out, okay? All right, let's keep going.
The Middlesex District Attorney says was found inside a home with multiple stab wounds. Loved ones showed up by the dozens, blocking off a portion of Wood Bowl Avenue to mourn, not only for Jenkins-Minus, but for her 2-month-old daughter, now without a mother. Investigators say her killing wasn't random. The crowd here in Mattapan praying for an arrest. Police in Lowell still looking for the suspect. Now relatives tell us that Jenkins-Minus does leave behind a 2-month-old daughter. They're rallying, doing everything they can to come up with donations to help this family get through the winter. From Mattapan, I'm Tiffany Chan for WBZ News.
An arrest in a Lowell woman's murder on Thanksgiving Day. Investigators have charged Leonard Robinson in the murder of Deja Jenkins-Minus. Jenkins-Minus was found dead in her home last Friday. Her 2-year-old daughter was with her but not harmed. Robinson will be arraigned tomorrow morning.
The victim of an apparent homicide in Lowell has been identified by police as 22-year-old Deja Jenkins-Minus of Boston. It's a case where police have not yet made an arrest. And as WBZ's Tiffany Chan tells us, her friends and family gathered tonight to remember her.
Dozens of people gathered outside of the victim's home here in Mattapan, lighting candles, comforting her mother, a 22-year-old woman, a new mother, taken far too soon. The pain too difficult to put into words. Hugs turned into uncontrollable sobs at a candlelight vigil near the Morton Street housing development. Relatives of Deja Jenkins-Minus identified the 22-year-old as the woman brutally murdered in Lowell Friday. Her body, the Middlesex District Attorney says, was found inside a home with multiple stab wounds. Loved ones showed up by the dozens, blocking off a portion of Wood Bowl Avenue to mourn, not only for Jenkins-Minus, but for her 2-month-old daughter, now without a mother. Investigators say her killing wasn't random. The crowd here in Mattapan praying for an arrest. Police in Lowell still looking for the suspect. Now relatives tell us that Jenkins-Minus does leave behind a 2-month-old daughter. They're rallying, doing everything they can to come up with donations to help this family get through the winter. From Mattapan, I'm Tiffany Chan for WBZ News.
An arrest in a Lowell woman's murder on Thanksgiving Day. Investigators have charged Leonard Robinson in the murder of Deja Jenkins-Minus. Jenkins-Minus was found dead.
I know some of these are going to be repeating the same information. I'm going to try to skip through some of them. But the video, y'all got to see the little live video that her little thug boyfriend had recorded. I'll get to that here in just a moment.
A grieving family is asking for the public's help tonight in finding the killer of 22-year-old Deja Jenkins-Minus. Police haven't said anything about a suspect in this case since her body was discovered on Friday. WBZ's Tiffany Chan spoke with the victim's mother tonight.
And let me send a prayer out there, man. I know a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff. And Patty Pierce, and I'm going to read her message. She says she's asking for prayers for herself and her daughter because they're COVID positive. Said 2 household. We are quarantined. So, man, if you guys would put some prayer hands up in the chat, show them some love. But Patty Pierce is a dear, dear friend here. So if you guys would, please, please keep Patty and anybody else who's going through something. But especially for her, I'm glad she said something. But thank you very much for sharing that. But if you guys would put a prayer hands up in the chat, if y'all would, please. And continue to pray for others, okay? But thank y'all so much. Let's keep going.
The Jenkins-Minus family has no idea why someone would want to kill this 22-year-old woman the day after Thanksgiving. And with it happening so close to the holidays, the pain is just unbearable.
I'm more mad that they won't come forward.
A mother's tearful plea for justice just days after 22-year-old Deja Jenkins-Minus was found brutally murdered in Lowell.
I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what, but I knew something was wrong.
It was LaToya Minus' motherly instinct that led Lowell police to this home where her body was found Friday morning.
They told me that my daughter, that she was stabbed.
Did they say by who?
No, I don't know that.
The Middlesex District Attorney's Office is investigating, but tell us the killing doesn't appear to be random. While Minus,
I think by that point right there, I just don't know if she just didn't want to say anything, but I think the mother of this woman right here, this mother, the grandmother, should have known that it had something to do with her boyfriend. Maybe she truly didn't know, but this seemed pretty obvious. But you know, this video was done kind of early on too, so maybe she didn't know.
Has an idea of who might be responsible. She can't fathom why someone would want to kill this young mother, who, telling by this candlelight vigil, was so deeply loved.
She's very outgoing. She's loving. She's a very uplifting young lady.
Minus is now desperate for answers and has this message for her daughter's killer.
They just need to turn themselves in. I'm lost. I'm hurt. I'm numb. I'm angry. and I want justice for my baby and my grandbaby.
The victim's 2-month-old daughter is being cared for by her mother. Lowell police have yet to announce any arrests.
A Lowell man is due in court today accused in the murder of a young mother on Thanksgiving. 22-year-old Leonard Robinson is charged with killing Deja Jenkins-Minus. Police went to a Lowell home on Friday for
A Lowell man is now being held without bail, accused of murdering
Most of these videos
a
are
young...
the same.
What we have in this situation.
Oh, here we go.
22-year-old
I'll show
Leonard
this one, because this one's him in some semblance of court. So I'll show this one.
The suspect's social media posts may reveal a motive.
22-year-old Leonard Robinson stood before a judge inside Lowell District Court Tuesday morning to face the charge of murder for the death of 22-year-old Deja Jenkins-Minus.
What we have in this situation, Your Honor, is that Deja is found in the house that he was living in alone, in his bedroom, which was locked when any witness or the police came to that location.
Prosecutors say the body of Jenkins-Minus, the mother of a 2-month-old baby girl from Boston, was found Friday morning in this Lowell home off Lowell Street. Her death ruled a homicide by multiple sharp force injuries. Investigators believe she was killed by Robinson the day before on Thanksgiving.
What the medical examiner's office noted was that Deja's neck was fractured, that she had over 58 stab wounds to her body by a sharp object.
Robinson was described by prosecutors as an on-again, off-again boyfriend of Jenkins-Minus. He was arrested in Boston.
Further investigation revealed that there had been social media posts by the defendant questioning whether he was the father of the child, questioning whether he should have a DNA test, and also stating that he was mad at Deja, and I would suggest providing motive.
Deja's mother, Latoya Minus, was in court Tuesday. It was her request for a well-being check that led to police confirming her worst fear.
Her mother then and other family members then stayed up all night on Thanksgiving, looking to see if they could monitor the phone, Deja's phone, as to where it might possibly be located.
Robinson was held without bail. A probable cause hearing was scheduled for December 30th. Reporting in Lowell, Nick Giovanni, WBZ News.
A grieving family is asking for the public's help in finding the killer of 22-year-old Deja Jenkins-Minus. Police have said nothing about a suspect in the case since her body was discovered on Friday. WBZ's Tiffany Chan just spoke with the victim's mother and joins us live now with that story. Tiffany?
Yeah, and the Jenkins-Minus family has no idea why someone would want to kill this 22-year-old woman the day after Thanksgiving. And with it happening so close to the holidays, the pain is just unbearable.
Just come forward. I'm not angry. I'm more mad that they won't come forward.
A mother's tearful plea for justice just days after 22-year-old Deja Jenkins-Minus was found brutally murdered in Lowell.
I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what, but I knew something was wrong.
It was Latoya Minus' motherly instinct that led Lowell police to this home where her body was found Friday morning.
And they told me that my daughter, that she was stabbed.
Did they say by who?
No, I don't know yet.
The Middlesex District Attorney's Office is investigating, but tell us the killing doesn't appear to be random. While Minus has an idea of who might be responsible, she can't fathom why someone would want to kill this young mother, who, telling by this candlelight vigil, was so deeply loved.
She's very outgoing. She's loving. She's a very uplifting young lady.
Minus is now desperate for answers and has this message for her daughter's killer.
They just need to turn themselves in. I'm lost. I'm hurt. I'm numb. I'm angry. And I want justice for my baby and my grandbaby.
The victim's 2-month-old daughter is being cared for by her mother. Lowell police have yet to announce any arrests in connection.
Being cared for by the grandmother, I guess, to kind of clarify. So here's the thing. Oh, I forgot about that right there. We need to talk about that. Let me pull that up on the screen real quick. Let me see if I can find that. Now, I'm going to have to use my entire screen just so y'all could see this. I have to use my entire screen for y'all to see this. What you're looking at is this is the mother of that child, and that's her thug boyfriend. We got a lot more to talk about. I'm going to try to wrap this up really, really quickly, though. That's them. So here's what it was. For those who try to tell me, no, the mom of this little baby didn't know that he was a jailbird and had an ankle monitor on. Remember how I said it would have been impossible for this man unless he never took his pants off around her, and it seemed like that's primarily what they was doing, was a whole lot of pumping and sweating, huh? Because that's what these young fools do. It was impossible for her not to know that he had an ankle monitor on, that he was a criminal. I think she knew all along. How did I know that? Because of this picture that you guys see on my screen. Can y'all see what that is? If you look in that top right corner, they were on jail FaceTime, because I guess with the new COVID protocols and all of that kind of good stuff, I guess they're allowing them to have video calls, I guess, right? And she actually posted in her name is Deja Star, that's her Facebook name, and she said, love face, he was excited to see me, and she cry face. Loved her a thug. How many of y'all want to deny my right to say hashtag when you date thugs, you date death? When this is a clear example of everything I've been talking about, from the fact of how they brought this child into this world, how they got into this relationship, all the problems that they had, all the animosity, the lying about who's fucking who, and all of that type of good stuff, whose baby it is, we're on again, off again. When you're on again and off again, everybody understands that means I can go have sex with who I want to have sex with. I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit, clean my language up a little bit. And you can't say that I cheated on you because we were off at that moment. Men and women do that to each other because they're irresponsible and nasty, especially when you do it unprotected. And even having sex protected is no guarantee of catching an STD or having a baby. Have any of y'all ever dealt with a broken condom? I have. I sure have. This is a clear example of when you date thugs, when you date the thug lion. Don't tell me that you didn't know he was a jailbird when he's on video and you thought it was cute and you posted it because you thought it was cute. Oh, he loved me, y'all. My thug lion loved me, y'all. He in jail and all he can think about is me. Well, usually that's the way it works. Usually fools in jail usually have a limited amount of options. But I'm going to tell y'all something. Here's the cold part about it. Let me be real with y'all. Thugs, criminals, killers, and baby murderers. I'm going to say it again. Thugs, criminals, baby murderers, non-law abiding citizens get more opportunity at attractive women than regular, hard-working, law-abiding citizens that earn an honest living like myself. There are a lot of men out there that can attest to that. You try to turn your life around, be a good person, stay out of trouble, but yet the fools that get rewarded with the attractive women physically, maybe, mentally they're not attractive, emotionally they're not attractive, they don't behave very womanly, but physically they're attractive. And most of the time us men are attracted to a shape and a feel and a smell. We think with our junk first. That's usually what attracts us. They get more cracks at the apple, the proverbial apple bottom, than most men who act like they got some sense to do. Now, I can talk about that. But how about we talk about something I think is a little bit more important? Y'all ready for this? Let's talk about something that's a little more important. Rather than me and the mom getting on my Facebook or my Instagram or sending me a stupid ass email talking about, yous don't know what you talking about, DJ Just J. You wasn't there, y'all. You don't know what you's talking about. You disparaging our family, y'all. Instead of doing that, how about I give you something productive? Because what happened to her is sad and it should not have happened, regardless of how mentally unstable this fool was that she chose to date and put herself and her child's life in danger. And let's just thank the heavens up above that he didn't do something to the kid that he didn't think belonged to him. He didn't even think it was his kid. And he probably had an opportunity to murder the kid too and didn't. That's at least something to be thankful for. But here's what I think makes my podcast different than anybody else that you might listen to on YouTube. We don't have the biggest audience. We have a relatively small audience compared to most people who talk about child abuse. Let's talk about preventative measures. I think in situations like hers, the reason why I get all of those nasty, stupid messages from people is because people care too much about the end result as opposed to what led up to getting this result. I'm going to tell y'all, I am drinking on ISO tea, by the way, if y'all want to know what I'm drinking. Detox tea. It's awesome. I lost a lot of weight already. Mix it up in my water. It's instant tea. It's good stuff. Mix it with my Fiji water. I'm going to say that again. We care too much about the end result as opposed to what led up to the result. First and foremost, how did we get to this point? The mom, no husband. Mom probably didn't have a father in her life because her mom didn't have a husband and didn't have a father in her life. Do you see how we continue to pass this generational curse down? I don't need no man, y'all. I's independent. I's strong, y'all. I's a queen, y'all. My crown sits on my head and my children keep my crown on my head, y'all. Where has that gotten us in the past 40 years? In my lifetime, where has that gotten us? Our people. Where's that gotten us? Screw everybody else talking about, well, white people do it too. You can say that all day long. They got bigger numbers and they doing way better than us. Our numbers are way smaller. We're doing way more bullcrap. The more bullcrap we do affects us more because we're a smaller group compared to the group that you keep trying to compare us to. But let's not go there for now. Let's stick to the point. Her mom, grandma, no man. No man in sight. She out there crying in the wind by herself. Why? Because when women get over the hill at a certain point, I mean, no disrespect, ladies, don't take it personally. It's just the reality that all women are going to face at some point. When you get over the hill, you become less desired than a woman that's younger, that brings a little bit more physically to the table. That's just a fact. Men don't get with women for their money. Most women. Most women ain't Oprah. Most women ain't Ellen DeGeneres. I guess most men don't want her either, but whatever. As far as women, they got a whole lot of bread. I don't know a whole lot of women with a lot of bread, but let's just say, like, what's Amazon? What's his name? I forget his name. The CEO of Amazon. When he divorced his wife became one of the richest women in the world. She hit the wall. She over the hill. You don't have men trying to get with her like that, even though she's super freaking rich. She's crazy rich. And you don't have men just beating down her door like that. That's just a natural cycle of life. We all understand As the new come in, the old walk out. But that's why we need to make sure and secure our younger years, get with a woman that is worth something, and we need to be preparing from the age of 18, ladies, to the age of 30 to be a wife and present yourself in a fashion. That's what we should be teaching our young women. Hello? When you talk about being an advocate for children, we need to be teaching our young girls to be young women and to be wives. They should be prime candidates for wives. Why make them prime candidates to be baby mamas? It's not getting us anywhere. Therefore, if this mother, her mother and grandmother in this story didn't have a father in the household, then she has no idea how to tell her daughter how to pick a husband-worthy candidate. She got a fool that was her age, a fool that had no money, a fool that was going nowhere in life, a fool that acted a fool on camera and in person, an unstable fool, and guess what? That fool couldn't control his emotions and murdered the absolute dog shit out of this woman. Stabbed her 58 times and broke her neck. Are you kidding me? Remember, we're talking about preventatives. How do we prevent this? Have a suitable candidate. Not just any man. I'm sorry. You can't just go get a man and be like, that's a good man right there. No. What is he qualified to do? Make these men qualify to be something. He has to have an education. Talk like he got some damn sense. Dress like he got some sense. Write sentences like he has some sense. Be a reputable individual. Be a law-abiding citizen. Do your freaking taxes. Be an individual that will be a great candidate to be a father. Not even a good, but a great. We have no standards. What was he doing for a living? Would you guys like to see what this fool was doing for a living? How about I just show you? I can show you better than I can tell you. You dig? Let's get to it. Let me show you this. I want to show y'all what she thought would have been a prime candidate to make her baby daddy. Would y'all like to see this stupid shenanigans? Are y'all ready for this? Let's check it out. Where's Bree Bree at? Bree Bree at? I saw you in the chat. What's up, Bree Bree? How you doing, sweet lady? She's in the building. Y'all gotta watch this buffoonery. You ready for this? Let's get it. That's baby daddy on the right. Watch this.
Snap was getting nigga all 2020, nigga, fuck that talk about. I had to bend it up again. Ay, so my nigga JD behind the fucking can. Sure. We ain't lying about shit, I don't lie my raps. That is all, so I can't cap. If it ever did, I bet it back in the goal. Ay, I had to bend it up again. Cause I know it was a jam, he still made it spin. But I was trying to bust again. Papa eat so fish, he pops some barely, but I might bust again. And your bitch trying to piss me, please don't dare me, cause I might fuck again. Bitches, most niggas know what it is. I done did so many hits. And yeah, I'm a rapper, but I'm sorry, I done got so many hits. I be higher than that, so young got a rider. I can get so many hits. Polo tips in it packed up, you get packed up.
You see the gun thing he did? I don't know what it is about these fools' obsession with guns. They're tools, and they be using these guns against each other. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut the song, but I had to point that out. Stupid crap.
So many hits, and yeah, I'm a rapper, but I'm sorry, I done got so many hits. I be higher than that, so young got a rider. I can get so many hits. Polo tips in it packed up, you get packed up. I got too many tips. Gang time, only hang with niggas from my hood that be on the same time. I bang mine, this phone's business, I've been standing on it, I don't waste time. At the same time, I take in killers in the county, dealing through a state time. At the same time, I take in killers through a state time. Made it too hard with that 30, had a bigger trait. Got made a hoe with that 80, caught him in the cold, they was trying to get away. Me and Black shot up the Mercedes. Hey, me and Black shot up the Mercedes, caught him in the cold, they was trying to get away. Me and Black shot up the Mercedes, I just did another. Or
you got this other fool over there co-signing, throwing up all kind of stupid ass gang signs and all this stupid crap.
I'm in the phone, they was trying to get away. Big white shut up the Mercedes. I just did another, boy. I ain't gotta say shit, cause niggas, boy. And I stay with my boy. Who this calling?
And I can guarantee y'all that after watching this video, there's some women out there that are going to turn around and be like, what's his Instagram? Y'all going to follow him and inbox him? Send him your phone number. But look, let me be real. Let me be real. I like the beat. I like the flow. Please remember, I'm a DJ. I'm a little bit more open-minded than most people. Beat was cool. Love the beat. Cadence was cool. I think what they talking about is absolutely stupid. They talking about killing and shooting each other. Killing and shooting each other, but we keep trying to turn around and point the finger at everybody else. I just think that that trend has to end. That cycle has to end. That music has to end. But again, we can't wait for somebody else to do it for us. We got to do that for ourselves. Black men. When are we going to stop saying, you know what? We're going to stop producing this murder music, antagonizing music, this music that's doing nothing but encouraging us to continue to keep taking each other out in high rates. It's not healthy. It's not good. There is nobody that's going to come in and stop us and say, you guys can't make this type of music anymore and go at each other like this. Why would they? You're doing it to yourselves. The only time anybody has something to say about it is when it happens to somebody else in other communities. Then they want to say something about it. So I think we got to be smart enough to raise up the awareness and the consciousness to stop putting out this stupid low vibration music. It's the words that matter, and the words are causing us to not value each other. So I think that is a hell of a lot of preventative that I've talked about in this story. If you didn't get anything else from this story, if you just think it's all about fun and jokes, and Jeff Bezos, thank you very much. I forgot what his wife's name was, but anyway. But if you think it's all about me cracking jokes and that's what this is all about, then I'm sorry. This whole podcast went over your head. I hope somebody learned something from this. Beautiful young lady. R.I.P. Definitely sorry for the grandmother in this story. And we can only hope that that baby stands a great chance and an opportunity to grow up and become something great. R.I.P. to the mother. And we hope that the baby daddy or potential baby daddy, if he is, gets life in prison. Maybe we'll get a DNA test and actually find out if that's even his kid, to find out what the real truth was, okay? But thank y'all for listening with an open mind as well as an open heart to this story, okay? When you date thugs, you know what you get. Make sure to show our sponsors some love. Have a great day. Peace.
You see, I'm just like you. Born and raised right here in Oklahoma City, an Oklahoma City public school product, and a former Division I college basketball player. As a husband and a father, I know exactly what it feels like to make that daily living, make that daily grind and support your family. My experience in corporate finance and as a college professor has taught me one thing, and that we make it to be what we want it to be. Can you imagine a city government with no limitations, catering to access to resources and tools for people who look just like you? Who says we can't end homelessness with creative solutions? Who says we can't have a citywide mentoring program that will cater to all youth in Oklahoma City that will put them on a path to be successful? Who says that the criminal justice system can't be equitable and cater to all walks of life, no matter your income or your position as a family? And as your Oklahoma City mayor, I will put people over politics. My name is Jimmy Lawson, and I look forward to having your vote on February the 8th, 2022. For more information about my campaign and how to make a campaign contribution, please visit www.lawsonforokc.com. See you at the polls.
Check out this wonderful organization that I'm proud to be a part of. It's called Bags for Kids, BAGS4KIDS.org. And check out their website. They really help a lot of kids in foster care, giving them a permanent piece of luggage and also a lot of items that they might need so that they feel that they belong, which they do. So go to the website, bags4kids.org. So go for it. It's a great place, and they're doing great work.
Exclusive new products that you will only see on my website at www.sayitwithchess.com. These products are made special by my mother, Keyline Designs. The hoodie blankie, the face mask, as well as the 4-in-1 African head wrap. Now the way it works, it is a reversible bonnet. It has a headband that you can wear alone. It has a matching face mask as well. Please be sure to go over to our website and check out these nice new products that you will not find anywhere else.
What's going on, guys? This your boy, DJ Just J with Just Down TNT, and I am your humble host of the AFC Podcast. And people ask me all the time, what is the AFC Podcast? This is a platform for us to have open and candid conversations about children who are being taken advantage of by people who are in charge of protecting them. So sometimes we discuss the latest things going on in the news, but we advocate for children first. I get so many emails and comments from people that love what I do, and I want to continue to keep bringing content that matters to YouTube. And I would like to thank you in advance for your consideration to contributing to my platform. You can help support this channel by way of the links that are in the description box of each and every video. And also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. I would like to thank you again and welcome to the AFC Podcast, where we advocate for children first. We'll see you guys on the next stream. Peace.